Hi, boys and girls. I hope you're ready for the next few chapters. I'm so excited, so let's jump right in. So, this chapter is called Alexa. I was like, I have this new guy for a teacher? That's so cool. Mr. Terupt was nice. He let us sit in tables, not rows. I was like, no way, are you serious? And the best was I got to sit with my friend Danielle. There was this new girl in our class, Jessica. She wasn't at our table, but I needed to talk to her. I needed to tell her who she could be friends with. She seemed like she could be pretty cool, even though she carried a book around like a teddy bear. I found her at recess. Outdoor recess is held behind the school. There's a big blacktop area with basketball hoops and hopscotch. There's playground equipment in another spot and a large field for running around and playing sports, like kickball or football. That's where the gazebo is too, by the edge of the field. I found Jessica sitting alone on the steps of the gazebo. She was reading a book. I was like, what a loser! But I went up to her. Hey, I said. Hi, she said back. You're Jessica, right? Yes. I blew a bubble with my gum and sat down. I'm Alexa, I said. My friends call me Lexi. I found the compact mirror in my purse and checked my Rockstar purple lip gloss. Then I was like, where'd you come from? We moved from California, the new girl said. I used to live in California too. I started playing with the stones that lay under my feet. It's always easier for me to lie when I don't have to look at the person's eyes. We moved because, my dad got sick and needed the doctors here. I'm sorry, Jessica said. She started playing with the stones now too. Listen, I said, you're new here, so let me help you out a little. If you want, that is. I snapped my gum. Sure, okay. I stopped playing with the stones and scooted closer to her. Want a piece of gum? No thanks, she said. Of course not. Little Miss Perfect. I put the gum back in my purse. That girl, I said, pointing to Danielle across the playground. You can't miss her. She's the fat one. I laughed, but Jessica didn't. That's Danielle. Watch out for her. She's like somebody you don't want to be friends with. Interesting. We started this chapter with Alexa saying that she was so excited because she got to sit with her friend Danielle, and now she's telling Jessica to stay away from Danielle. But don't you sit with her in class? I thought you were friends. I wasn't expecting this. Usually girls just listen and follow along. I blew a bubble and snapped my gum again. Yeah, she used to be cool. But she's been saying stuff about you, calling you Miss Goody Two-Shoes and snotty bookworm. Jessica seemed surprised. Oh, okay. Thanks for letting me know, she said. Don't worry. I put my arm around her. Stick with me and I'll help you out. It'll be great. Then recess ended. That's how I got the girl war started. Seems like we're learning a little bit about Alexa. Maybe she's a little bit of a drama starter. Let's move on to the next chapter. Next chapter is called Jeffrey. The kids in my class are all right. I have to deal with Alexa again, plus her feather boas and leopard print clothes and her stupid purse. I wonder what kind of makeup she puts on this year. She's so dumb. She thinks she's a Hollywood star or something. Then there's Luke. I don't mind him. He's just smart and serious about school. And Danielle's in my class. She's fat. And then there's Peter, a wise guy, a total smart aleck. I want to tell Mr. Terupt that Peter spent all his time in the bathroom cause he's messing around. But Mr. Terupt figured it out. Even if he was new, he seems smart. I just don't want him trying to figure me out. I'm no good in school. School sucks. That's it from Jeffrey. But gives you a little bit of knowledge on Jeffrey. Next, we have Danielle. School wasn't so great. My teacher seemed pretty nice, and he could be funny too. But none of that mattered when you don't have friends. Lexi had done this stuff to me before. One day she's my friend, the next day she's not. I don't even know why. I'm not mean to her. This year was the worst though. Things started out fine. Then, one day after recess, Lexi started ignoring me, pretending I wasn't there. She would talk about things right in front of me and leave me out of the conversation. She started telling her stupid fat jokes. It was horrible. I cried at home a lot. I'm a little heavy. Well, bigger, I guess. I don't like saying I'm fat. I don't know why I am. I watch what I eat, and I don't have any more than the other girls at lunch. Mom says I'll grow into my body. She's not fat. Neither is my brother Charlie or Grandma or Grandpa or Dad. Grandma says, you've got to have some meat on your bones, girl. Yeah, Grandma, I think, so someone like Lexi can tell fat jokes about me. I don't say anything, though. Grandma doesn't get it. Only Mom understands, and I feel a little better when she reassures me that I'll thin out as I grow. She also tells me there must be a reason I'm having to deal with this. It's making you a better person, she says, and someday this experience will help you. That's all great, but I wish I could grow into my body now. We live on a farm. My mom grew up there. My grandma and grandpa lived there in their own house next to ours. They help us run the farm, so my grandma's around a lot, and she wanted to know what was wrong with me. Why was I crying? At any time I mentioned Lexi, she'd get all mad. I'm going into that school and fix that girl, she'd say. No, Grandma. Why are you even still friends with her? She doesn't know how to treat people well, especially a friend. It's not her fault, Grandma. It's this new girl's fault, I said, sticking up for Lexi the way I always do. A new girl that I can't stand. If you keep telling yourself that, it won't ever get better, Grandma said. She's a tough woman. The only time I've got friends is when I'm in Lexi's group. Nobody wants to be friends with the fat kid. I don't know what to do. Grandma said a prayer with me that night. We knelt by my bed. Dear God, please give Danielle the strength to stand up to these mean girls in school, or do what you can to teach Alexa a lesson. If you make her fat, that would be all right by me. I elbowed Grandma. Okay, she said. I just ask that you provide Danielle with some comfort and direction during these tough times. We pray for the good weather to hold up and for the farm. Amen. Danielle's grandma seems great. I like her. Anna, that's our next chapter. I didn't say much in school. I never raised my hand. That would have been an easy way for people to notice me, and I didn't want to be noticed. People can be real mean. That's something Mom warned me about, and my mom knows, trust me. I didn't have any close friends, and I wasn't looking for any. Mom was my best friend. Not getting noticed was never a problem for me before. I was always quiet and I behaved, so the teachers just left me alone. I kept my head down and looked at the floor a lot, but I'm a good observer. Mrs. Williams, our principal, winks whenever there's some big surprise coming. It's something I noticed a few years ago. If you keep quiet and you have time to look and listen and take things in. At the beginning of the year, the first thing you pay attention to is the classroom. We had a nice classroom, a big one. There was a whole wall of windows opposite the door. Mr. Terupt's desk was in the corner by the windows. The students' desks were arranged in 5 tables of 4. So, right away, I knew we had a teacher who was into teamwork and who probably didn't mind a little talking. Otherwise, we would have been in the old-fashioned rows. The front of the room had the blackboard, and the back wall had a whiteboard. The last side of the room had all our cabinets and a sink, plus a drinking fountain. Most of the room was carpeted, except for the side by the sink and fountain. Our door was next to the fountain. The bigger thing you pay attention to in the beginning is your teacher, especially if he's a new one, like Mr. Terupt. Right away, I could tell he was a reader because there were books everywhere in our room. Mom liked that when I told her. Mom's a library assistant in another school. It's a good job. She has the same schedule I do, and it allows her to take some classes at night. She's studying art, something she missed out on when she was younger. She's really good at drawing and painting. Mr. Terupt was young and athletic looking. He didn't have any pictures around his desk, and he didn't wear a wedding ring. Miss Newberry across the hall didn't have a wedding ring either. Neither did Mom. Mr. Terupt turned out to be different. He noticed me on the first day. It didn't matter that I wasn't raising my hand because he would say, Anna, get ready, I'm calling on you next. Or if we were talking about something and there wasn't just one opinion, he would say, Anna, what do you think? He wasn't going to let me hide all year. This made me nervous. but it turned out to be a good thing in the end. I wonder what the good thing in the end happens to be. We're moving on to our next section. Our next section happens to be called October. Let's take a look. Peter. I never ever had something in school excite me before, but the plant unit we did with Mr. T had me fired up. We grew these bean plants from seeds, and once they got big enough, they started doing different tests. We started doing different tests on them. Variables, Mr. T called them. First, we stuffed the plants into boxes with just a little tiny hole on the side, and we waited to see what the plants would do after a few days in the dark. Anna had a meltdown about it. I don't want to put mine in a box, she cried. Mr. T had to take her out into the hall to calm her down. I was kind of shocked. Usually she doesn't say anything. What a weirdo, I thought. It's no wonder she doesn't have any friends. It's a good thing Danielle was her partner. She's the patient kind. Anyone else would have been fuming. My partner was Lexi, which was fine. She let me do what I wanted. Next, we put the plants on their side to see how they would grow. I couldn't believe it. The plants bent and still grew up towards the ceiling. That was pretty cool. But the best part was what we got to do in the end. Mr. T let us feed our plants any concoction we wanted over the course of a week. There was just one rule. We couldn't use an ingredient that would spoil and stink up the classroom, like milk or something that wasn't good for us to breathe, like gas. There were some pretty wild concoctions. David and Nick used salad dressings because, according to them, plants make salad, so the plant would like salad dressing. Brenda and Heather used orange juice mixed with ketchup and Pepto-Bismol. I don't know what they were thinking. Mine was the best, though. I brought in cat litter, used, soda, and a little maple syrup. I did my best to mix it together and feed it to my plant. Lexi wasn't really happy about my choice of ingredients. I didn't tell her I had peed in my soda bottle some, too. Oh, that's gross. Peter, you moron. This stuff is going to kill our plant, she whined. Shut up. You never cared about the plant before, I said. Well, I care now, she said. Lexi, maple syrup comes from trees. I drink soda a lot and I'm growing, and farmers put animal manure on their fields all the time. So zip it. It's going to work. Our plant was dead in 2 days. Danielle and Anna did the best. Danielle used some natural ingredients her grandmother had taught her about, something the old-time farmers really did use. I guess. Danielle lives on a farm, so she had a big advantage. Her concoction worked big time. She and Anna were the only ones to come up with food that the plant liked. Anna was all smiles until Lexi said, like, you're just lucky Danielle was your partner. She did everything. Then Lexi turned to me and added, even if she is fat. I don't think anyone else heard it, but I laughed. I know I probably shouldn't have. Anna's smile disappeared and she stared at the floor. Poor old Luke sure tried. I think he put too much brain power in it, and he's got a lot of brain power. He's been the smartest kid in the school since kindergarten. His partner was Jeffrey, but he never does anything. He just lets Luke take charge. Maybe he should have helped. I brought in a number of different ingredients, Luke said, and they all interacted perfectly because of the electron balance and the resulting bonds formation. He even said something about a periodic table or something else. Well, you're never going to believe this, but Luke mixed his junk together and it started smoking. The next thing we knew, the stupid fire alarm went off. The whole school had to go outside, and even the fire department showed up. It was great. Mr. T had to do some explaining, and after a while, we were let back in. But Luke wasn't performing any more experiments for us. Man, things were just so much fun with Mr. T. We're going to stop there, but that sounds like a great teacher, Mr. T. If you want, boys and girls, try that experiment at home. See if you can grow a plant and try some variables with it. I'd love to hear what you guys come up with. All right, tune in next for the next few chapters.